Nothing changes if nothing changes. This is the mantra that is on my vision board for 2025, and it coincides beautifully with my word for this year, which is evolve. Because you see, if you continue to do things as you've always done them, you will continue to receive the same results. If you want something different, you've got to change things. And this has very much been our experience because in January, the first chapter of 2025, which we have just wrapped up, we made the decision to leave Palermo to move back to Salerno. A difficult decision to make, but tied into this philosophy, it was a necessary one. And kind of in the space of about a week, because it really all came together at the end of January, we have secured the house that we went to see, and we have really put into place all the other aspects of our move that we need to consider. And so now we are left with the last few weeks of Palermo to enjoy before we actually transfer back to Salerno. And it's an interesting concept because we took this decision based on the fact that nothing was going to change if we continued to stay here in Palermo. Sicily is a beautiful island. Palermo is a beautiful city, even though, it isn't perfect. And it could be very easy for us to want to remain here for so many different reasons. We have, connections here, we have family here, we have friends here, we've built a life here in the past 2.5 years. And for that reason, it would make sense for us to stay. However, when you look beneath those reasons, you realize that actually the quality of life that we've kind of led here in the past few months hasn't been what it could be, purely because, my boyfriend hasn't been able to kind of secure steady work here. And, it's not really lived up to our expectations in terms of work and career prospects, especially for him. And so taking this decision to move back to Salerno has meant that we have taken an opportunity for him to really grow and develop. And it's a fantastic job opportunity. And it's something that is going to change our life for the better. And so we've really embraced this mantra because otherwise I could imagine that our life for 2025 would pretty much look like how it had been for most of 2024. And I want something different this year. I want to evolve myself. I want to grow. I want us to have better experiences. And we can only do that by being brave enough to make changes. And this is the thing that I want to encourage you to do. Sometimes we get so stuck in familiarity and in our comfort zones that we don't want to change. Even though we know it probably would be for the better if we did change, we resist the urge to because we feel comfortable and safe in the life that we're leading. But change, although it is extremely scary and although it is full of uncertainties, is honestly one of the best things you could ever do. I reflect back on all the changes that I have made in my life here in Italy, and every single change felt extremely scary, but always took me to a much better place. And, ironically enough, coming to Palermo took me to probably my personal best place here in Italy. And so, this is why I've been able to embrace this decision so much more than I would have done a few years ago, because I've realized just how important change is. And I've realized that if you want to make a difference in your life, you've got to do things differently. You've got to switch things up. You can't be doing the same old thing and expecting different results. Isn't that like the definition of insanity, as the famous quote says? But it's interesting how many people will resist the urge to switch things up and to improve themselves because they have got themselves into this state of comfort. And I guess in today's episode, I really want to encourage you to review your life and to look at the things that you're doing and kind of look at where you're headed. Is it really where you want to go? Or do you need to do things differently in order to achieve the things that you want or to be living the life that you desire? It's never easy. And of course, it's going to feel extremely uncomfortable. But I kind of think the best things in life often do. And I kind of feel that, if something feels too easy, I don't know if you really learn from that. I think you learn from the challenges, you learn from the difficulties. And if nothing else, you learn to appreciate what you have so much more because of them. And so I want to encourage you all in today's episode to embrace this philosophy of nothing changes if nothing changes. If you have a goal, if you have an objective for 2025 and you're continuing to work towards it in the same way that you always have done, not really making much progress, then I want to encourage you to revisit what you're doing and to reflect on your actions and see if by doing things a little bit differently, even if it feels really, really uncomfortable, that might make a big difference to your outcome. I'll see you in the next episode.